Rärihogan and his wife were able to secure testing kits from South Korea. Senator Cory Gardner is chair of the
Security relationships with Asia has now turned into an incredible relationship to address our COVID-19 health emergency.
Well, I have to check my phone several times during the night.
You said it's absolutely false that states have the testing capacity they need to reopen safely, but you know who doesn't seem to agree. Here's what he had to say about you yesterday.
Hundreds and hundreds of labs are ready, willing, and able. Some of the governors, like as an example, the governor from Maryland didn't really understand the list. He didn't understand too much about what was going on, so now I think he'll be able to do that. It's pretty simple. The governor of Maryland could have called Mike Pence, could have saved a lot of money. Look at these different places. That's Maryland right there. So could have saved a lot of money, but that's okay.
Did you go to South Korea for
No,
this
I don't think he
testing
needed to go to
kits?
South Korea. I think he needed to get a little knowledge would have been helpful.
So we'll get to the deal that you made with South Korea in a minute, but how do you respond to, you know, who's saying you didn't know what you were doing when there were all these testing labs that were right there for you to pick from?
Well, it's interesting. We had a great call yesterday with the vice president and with the president's own coronavirus task force, where I thank the vice president and many members of the team for some of the progress that they had made over the past couple of weeks. And, you know, I'm chairing the National Governors Association. And then they went over, you know, to discuss some of the labs that are in each of the states. They provided us with a list of labs. We were very familiar with all of the labs in our state already, but the list they provided us was all federal labs, which I pointed out, and which we hadn't had any access to. But our discussion really was about tests. It wasn't about labs. So the president seemed to be a little confused yesterday in his press conference. I have no idea what set him off, but we had some tremendous success getting tests on our own, which is exactly what the president had asked all the governors to do. He said we needed to be leading and we needed to be stepping up, and the governors needed to go get their own testing. That's what we've done. And we had a very productive call with his entire team yesterday afternoon, which I was leading on behalf of the governors. The president was not on that call, and I was somewhat, you know, taken aback by his sort of biting attacks on me yesterday. I have no idea what that was about.
Well, Governor, just yesterday you announced that you negotiated with South Korean labs to secure 500,000 more tests for your state. The deal took weeks. Even your wife, Yumi, who's born in South Korea and who's just extremely impressive. I want to say I love the work that she does with the human trafficking and domestic violence. She's phenomenal. She was involved in getting those tests. How difficult was it to get these tests, and why, again, would you have to go to those lengths if the president says you already had the testing capacity in your own backyard?
Well, again, the number one problem in America from the beginning of this crisis has been the lack of available testing, and that's been a problem. Every single governor in the country has had that, Republicans and Democrats, and the smokescreen yesterday was about labs. That has nothing to do with test kits. But the test kits that nobody had enough of, the president told us to go out and get on our own. Governors have been fighting to get those from every domestic company in America, from the federal government, and from sources around the globe. We were very successful. It took a lot of work, over a 22-day straight day and night effort. With my wife was very involved in helping us, but we worked, got the assistance of President Moon in South Korea, the South Korean government, a couple of great South Korean companies, and we negotiated a terrific deal to bring in 500,000 tests. We flew in a special flight, a Korean Air passenger plane that flew into BWI Airport, the first one ever, no passengers, but a really valuable payload that's going to help us save the lives of thousands of people in our state, and we're very pleased to have accomplished that, and we appreciate the cooperation of the federal government and partners, and we look forward to working with them on their labs so that we can utilize all these tests. But it was, I want to thank my wife, I want to thank the Republic of Korea for their cooperation, and a great team effort by folks here in Maryland and our partners across the globe.